want to build wealth, you gotta build rich habits. And guess what? Some rich habits aren't what you think they are. In fact, some habits are the opposite of what you think rich people are doing. An opposite habit is a behavior or a routine that counters a common assumption or a widely held belief about how things should be done. In this video, I am going to share 5 opposite habits that I have learned over the years. These are things that I truly believe have empowered me to build wealth and have helped me improve my relationship with money. They're opposite in the sense that they go against common narratives or common assumptions that we have about how rich and wealthy people operate. Like if you think rich people are just throwing money into the air and always buying bottle service and just having a blast. Like I'm sure they do that, but how often? Is it just what we see on the internet? Is it just what we're exposed to? Is it just the narrative we're fed? We're going to talk about it. My name is Lissa Prudencio. I am a personal finance expert and an accredited financial counselor, and I am the co-host of NetNet Podcast, where we talk about hidden costs and help you navigate every financial decision in life. Are weddings worth it? Are financial advisors worth it? So many different topics in so many different areas. Check it out and let me know what you guys think. Now, before I jump into this list of these opposite habits, I just want you to know that you don't have to do all of these things. My goal here is to expose you to information, to give you some education, and maybe just spark your motivation to build habits that both fit into your life and that also align with your financial goals. Personal finance is personal. It sounds so cliche, but that is the truth, period. With that said, let's jump into the list. Here are 5 opposite habits that I believe are going to make you rich. Number 1, work less. All right, I'm going to get some hate for this already. Now, there is a common misconception that super rich people are working all of the time. They get up at 5 a.m. They work. They hardly sleep. They grind 24/7, 365. They're built different. They can run off of 3 hours of sleep. Now look, some rich people do, and a lot of rich people don't. The main takeaway that I want you to have is that both things are possible. You can work all the time, and that can equate to a lot of money and a lot of wealth, but you can also have a more balanced life, and that can also equate to a lot of money and wealth. And the added bonus for the latter, which should really be a priority for everyone, is a lot better health as well. Now, I'm not saying this is easy to do, especially if you weren't born into money. If you weren't born into money, sometimes out of necessity, we have to work really hard. We have to have this phase in life where we are showing that we deserve to be here, showing that we deserve the money that we're being paid, showing that we deserve a promotion, yada, yada, yada. But I just believe that doesn't have to be forever. Sometimes it takes being very strategic, and sometimes it takes having a little bit of luck to be able to set your life up in a way that you can make money, you can build wealth, and you can have time and energy to enjoy your life. So I'm not saying you should never get into grind mode. I just alluded to that. I used to be in grind mode. I'm simply saying that, in my opinion, we have to stop associating hard work and even hustle culture with wealth, as if those are the only ways to achieve it. That is a narrative that we have all been fed all of our lives because we live in a capitalistic society. Now, the thing is, that is a narrative that is hounded down our throats, especially for those who come from immigrant families or who come from lower income households. Again, go ahead, work hard, provide value, get money in exchange for the value you provide. But eventually, aim to break that cycle of having to earn money by just being strategic with how you allocate your resources, how you allocate your time, your energy, and your money. So how can you start this opposite habit of working less? From a logistical point of view, it first and foremost depends on your work situation. Some industries and companies have work cultures that just don't support work-life balance. They can act like they support it, but if they're emailing you at 11:02 at night and expecting you to respond, they're not actually supporting it. So if you work for a company like this and you're okay with it for now, then go ahead, keep doing what you're doing. I just pray and hope that you are using some of your paycheck towards investing and towards financial security so that you can eventually break free from this. But if you're not okay with it, then think about what is that path towards a different career or a different way of life. I want you to start believing that there is a better quality of life than just work all the time, and most times not getting noticed for it. Now for others, it's a behavioral thing. Maybe your job isn't actually asking you to work 24/7, but you feel like you have to in order to be noticed, in order to be recognized. You feel like you have to in order to get that next bump up in pay. You got to stand out. You got to do better than everyone else. So if this is the case for you, there are a couple of things you can do. One, you can do some inner work. This doesn't mean you have to criticize yourself, but it doesn't hurt to kind of question, where does this come from? Why do you work so much? And why do you work so hard? Why do you feel like you have to deliver so much work? Whatever work is, what is work anyway? But another thing you can do is you can be strategic in your career. For example, talk to your boss, put some structure around what your job responsibilities are, what is expected of you, what does it take to get that next bump in pay. Don't just do all the things expecting someone to notice. Actually have a conversation about it to know that you're doing the right things to get that increase in pay. Another way you can be strategic in your career is to think about ways to upskill or to reskill. That is, work on your human capital. So even though I'm saying work less, the path to that could include working a little bit more, learning a little bit more, building up skills and knowledge that will eventually help you get paid more by doing less. I want all of you to think about your boss right now, or any boss you've had in your life. Do you think you do more work than your boss? I feel like a lot of people are going to say yes. Now, if you do more work than your boss, do you think you get paid more than your boss, right? What gives? Now, another thing on this point, in being strategic, you can learn ways to be efficient. I remember back in the day when I used to work at Google, and some people would do so much manual work working in a spreadsheet simply because they didn't want to invest the time to learn spreadsheet formulas or how to write scripts. And do you know how much time you can save if you are strategic with these types of things, right? You could write a script, it'll do the work for you, and now you're more efficient with your time. Maybe you could do a little bit of other work, or you can actually save some of your energy. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. I know we have 4 other things on the list to cover, so let me rope myself back in. And finally, one other thing you can do to get on that path towards working less, I alluded to it earlier, but that is invest your money. Start thinking about passive income and portfolio income. Start thinking about other ways to make money versus just trading your time. All right, don't worry. The rest are not going to be as long. Let's move on to opposite habit number 2 that's going to make you rich, and that is be hands-off with your finances.
What? Don't you always talk about budgeting and money management and cash flow? Doesn't being hands-off with your finances go against all of the other things you talk about in your videos, Lisa?
Well, it does and it doesn't. Here's what I mean. I think there is a common misconception that super rich people are super rich because they're extremely good with managing their money, that they micromanage their money. They know where every penny goes. And it's true, some of them do, but the rest just kind of have the right systems in place. So I used to listen to the NerdWallet podcast all of the time, and I remember hearing one of the co-hosts always talking about how he checks his bank account and his budgets every single day. Now, I think there can be value in this depending on what phase you're in your personal finance journey. For example, if money is super tight, you're going through a hardship, if you currently have high anxiety around your finances, it could be beneficial for you to check it a lot. However, I think that as you start to progress on this journey towards building wealth and you start to build a good foundation of knowledge, you're not going to have to do things like this. And that's because you'll be able to set up automations and have systems and safeguards in place. Eventually, I want you to know that I believe it's a rich habit to have automation. Checking your balances every day and micromanaging your money every day will soon become a waste of time. And it can also be a source that contributes to financial anxiety. Once you have the right systems in place, you'll start to trust what your money is doing and where it is. You're not going to have to check it every 2 seconds. So again, I just want to be clear here. I'm not saying to stop budgeting and to stop tracking your finances. It all depends on how comfortable you are with your finances and where you are in your journey. There'll be some weeks, some months, some years where you're tracking a lot more closely. I have been in the last 2 years because I went from making multiple 6 figures to making no money. I took a big leap to start a business, so I got to pay a lot closer attention to my finances. When I was getting a regular paycheck, I had direct deposits, automatic transfers, automatic payments. I had everything set up. I didn't have to pay super close attention to it. So it's just going to depend on your situation. I just want you to know that not every rich person is over here micromanaging their money. So let me give you 2 examples of how to automate systems so you get a feel for what I'm talking about. My favorite method is the pay yourself first method. The concept here is that anytime new money comes your way, so you get paid, you get a paycheck, you get a windfall, you find $20 on the sidewalk. Has that ever happened to anyone? That feels like a lot, huh? I had a friend once who found like a $20 bill and it was like outside of a grocery store, and she went and gave it to the grocery store saying that someone lost it. And I'm like, girl, it is cash. Take it. Anyway, the concept, new money comes your way. The first thing you do is you put that money towards future you. That means money going straight into savings or straight into investments. I mentioned it earlier, but you would set this up by doing an additional direct deposit if you're getting paid by a company, or you can set up an automatic transfer between your accounts. All you have to know is that when money comes your way, the first thing you prioritize is future you. All right, one more idea for an automated system so that you can be more hands-off with your money is setting up automated payments for any of your debt payments, including your credit cards. Obviously, the key here is to get your finances in a good enough place that you know your bank account that's making these payments will always have enough money in them. So it takes building up to this. You can't just go ahead and do this and end up overdrafting because you forgot that you made a payment and you don't even have the money for it. But the key is once you have this all in place, you can start automating your payments. So again, this doesn't mean you shouldn't look at your credit card statements or your loan statements or your bank account. You should. It just means that you don't have to do it all the time every day. You can do it less frequently and be more hands-off and just know that things will be taken care of. All right, number 3, another opposite habit, if you want to be rich, is you have to focus on what is internal, what's internal to you. When we think about rich people, a lot of times we're thinking about a dude in a Ferrari, maybe in a suit because he has an important job or a meeting he's trying to get to. Maybe he's driving fast because he's trying to show off how cool he is and how rich he is. No, am I the only one who thinks about that? Damn, that's just the Los Angeles in me. I think it has thwarted my reality. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is we assume that rich people focus a lot on external things. They want to keep up with the Joneses, or they are the Joneses, that they care so much about their external appearance and how people perceive them. I think that's true. I think a lot of people do. But I also think that many, many rich people are not basing their decisions off of comparisons to other people. If you are constantly comparing yourself to other people, or you're constantly focused on things external to you, sometimes that can lead to having financial decisions that are misguided, right? Financial decisions that could hurt your financial progress. When I say focus on what is internal, that means making financial decisions based on your needs. What do you want in life? What are your goals in life? What do you value in life? If you're basing your decisions on external factors like, oh, I got to get a nice car because my neighbor has a nice car, that is basing your decisions on an external factor as opposed to focusing internally. There's that saying that You can get in a lot of financial trouble if you are spending on things to impress other people that you don't even like. Is that how it goes? Something like that. And if you do that, that potentially takes away from your ability to retire early, to put your kids through school, to taking those golf lessons you've been wanting to get. It takes away from what you really want. Now, don't get me wrong, I like nice things. If you spend on nice things because those things bring value to you, then by all means do it. I'm just saying it depends on where you are in your financial journey and whether you have the means to support that lifestyle. I like nice cars. If I have the money to afford a Lambo, I will probably get one. I'm just saying what you use your money on has to match your budget and your wealth level. That is, if you want to stay on track with your finances and building wealth. Now, I want to take it one step further to help you focus more on what's internal. This can mean doing some inner work. You want to start to understand what drives your narrative around money and just in life in general. What drives your decisions? If we continue on with that example of nice cars, if you enjoy or value nice cars, don't just stop there. Try to understand why you like them. Why do you value them? Do you have a fascination or a passion for cars? Do you genuinely love how they look or how they feel when they drive? Or is it because you like what a nice car says about you to other people? And if it's that, you care about other people's opinions, dig in some more. Why does it matter to you? Try to do this without judgment. Like, the fact of the matter is, a lot of us as humans care about other people's opinions, just to varying degrees. I just want you to draw attention to your thoughts and your feelings around money, and don't let external things dictate your financial decisions. Rich people aren't doing that. Rich people are making smart decisions that benefit them. All right, we got 2 more on the list to get to. Before we wrap up this list of habits, please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It does help out my channel, and I'm really, really grateful for the support. It helps me grow. It helps me help more people. Okay, opposite habit number 4, give money. Some people associate rich people with greed and with hoarding. Like, damn, y'all are already rich and you still want more money? What about the rest of us? Sometimes we tend to think rich people built their wealth because of their ability to hold on to money, and sometimes because of greed. In reality, yeah, rich people know how to hold on to their assets and build their wealth and not just blow it all and get into debt and lose all their money. But the habit here is opposite to that. I think that many rich people also have the habit of giving back to their communities, giving back to causes they care about, giving to people they care about. So I want to talk about 2 sides to this, the practical side and the energetic, altruistic side. From a practical level, I do think there are benefits to giving money. Taxes are a big one. There could be some tax benefits to charitable contributions. But also, from a practical level, it could just be aligned with your values. Do you have family members that you want to help out because that is something you value? That's a very practical thing to do if that aligns with your values. Now, side note, I do think you should focus on your financial foundations before you go off giving money to every charity or every aunt or uncle or every niece or nephew who asks for money. I think you should be responsible and think about your financial future first. But once you have that in place, it's up to you what you want to do with your money, and one of those things you can do is give. Another practical example is that giving money can strengthen relationships. If you can help a person or an organization that's in need, you are strengthening your connection to them. Doesn't mean you have to have ulterior motives, but there is a benefit to helping others. And finally, a practical benefit to giving is creating change. Often people give to causes they care about because it supports change. If you use your money in a way that feels valuable to you and how you want to live your life, then you can and should do it. You can give and still end up building wealth. Again, like the common theme in this video, it's just about being strategic. Okay, now in giving, if you want to be super rich, I think one of the habits you can take on is give. And I want to talk about the energetic side of that, the kind of altruistic side. I believe that what you put out in the world comes back tenfold. The thing is, I don't even think you have to do it for this reason. Like you don't give because you expect 10 things back in return. I think if you want to give to others and help others and you truly have a genuine intent, it shifts your energy. That good energy by nature ends up attracting more good energy your way. Just something to think about. It's something I believe in. I know a lot of my videos are very much talking about the practical side of money. I think these things are true. So if you want to be rich, incorporate giving in some way, even if not now, think about it in the future. All right, we are on number 5, the end of the list. Opposite habit number 5. If you want to be rich, keep learning. Do not build up the habit of overconfidence. Sometimes we associate wealthy people with being super smart and super talented, and therefore maybe we think there's not much else to learn. What else is there to learn if you're a multimillionaire? You can live your life and just relax now. But guess what? It's kind of the opposite. I think there are many rich people and wealthy people who are lifelong learners. I don't know if it's like a chicken or the egg thing. Like people become rich and wealthy because they are lifelong learners, or do people become lifelong learners because they are rich and wealthy? Did I say that right? I don't know. I just know that I don't really have an official statistic for this, but I'm willing to bet that wealthy people have a strong correlation to people with a growth mindset. When I say keep learning, that can mean anything. You can learn more about money and business and finance and the economy, but it doesn't have to be just that. I think if you have a curiosity for life and you welcome new information, you welcome new perspectives, you open yourself up to more opportunities, and those opportunities often lead to more wealth. So that wraps up the list of 5 opposite habits that you can build as you continue your journey towards wealth. If you like this video, let me know in the comments. Until next time, peace out.